Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Jefferson Nickels, exploring their value, iconic design, hidden treasures, and shocking history. We'll reveal the top 3 most valuable and ultra-rare U.S. coins that collectors are hunting for. The coins featured today include 1989 Jefferson Nickel, D Mint, Denver. 1992 Jefferson Nickel, D Mint, Denver. 1984 Jefferson Nickel, D Mint, Denver. These coins are struck in copper-nickel composition with the classic Monticello reverse design. At first glance, they may appear dirty, worn, and heavily circulated, but some rare varieties and high-grade examples are worth thousands, or even millions, of dollars today. Money bag. Before you spend that old coin sitting in your pocket or coin jar, stick around, you could be holding a hidden fortune in your hands. Backhand index pointing right first up. Coin number 1. Hold your 1989 D Jefferson Nickel carefully in your hand before dismissing it as just another 5-cent piece. At first glance, it feels ordinary, copper-nickel clad, worn smooth from decades of circulation, dulled by fingerprints, cash drawers, and aware of countless transactions. Yet that small D Mint mark from Denver whispers secrets that many overlook, a tiny symbol that separates the common from the coveted. This nickel was minted in a time when the Jefferson nickel design had become familiar, yet every coin carries a story. Its reverse proudly displays Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's iconic home, a symbol of history, architecture, and the legacy of a founding father. That building etched in metal might seem simple, but collectors know its presence signals centuries of economic and cultural continuity. The 1989 D Jefferson Nickel is not rare at face value. Millions were struck. They passed through hands in grocery stores, banks, and lunch counters. Most of these coins spent their lives in pockets and cash registers, acquiring scratches, discoloration, and a dull patina. On the surface, a worn 1989 D nickel looks unremarkable. It is ordinary. It is familiar. But in coin collecting, familiarity does not always equal worth. Rarity, condition, and subtle variations create opportunity. Professional collectors hunt for nickels in exceptional condition, MS65, MS66, and higher grades certified by recognized grading services. These high-grade coins are scarce because most nickels from 1989 were used heavily. Their surfaces, details of Jefferson's hair, Monticello's columns, and the sharp edges of the date and mint mark are the deciding factors in determining value. In pristine condition, this nickel commands respect, attracting competitive bidding in numismatic auctions. Then there is the world of mint errors. A nickel struck off-center, with double dies, die cracks, or missing elements, suddenly enters an entirely different league. Even a small deviation from perfection can turn a circulated 1989 D Jefferson nickel into a collector's prize. These errors are rare, and scarcity drives market excitement. Verified mint errors in high demand can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The fascinating truth is that history lives in these small variations, hidden in plain sight among millions of ordinary coins. But let's be realistic. A heavily circulated nickel, darkened by time and worn smooth by decades of handling, is usually worth face value, 5 cents. Not millions, not billions. Viral claims of overnight fortunes often exaggerate. They mix rare auction records with common coins, creating myths that lure casual collectors. The real thrill lies in knowledge, understanding the mint mark, examining the surfaces for sharpness, spotting minor anomalies, and comparing against grading standards. That's where true value emerges. The Jefferson nickel represents more than a monetary unit. It embodies a piece of American history. Thomas Jefferson, the third president, visionary, and statesman, is forever memorialized on this tiny coin. Monticello connects us to the past, reminding us of American ideals and ingenuity. The 1989 D nickel is a reminder that even small, overlooked objects can carry significance, historical, cultural, and financial, if approached with care and understanding. Collectors understand that fortune is not built on hype but on patience, observation, and research. Among millions of nickels minted in 1989, there may be a few examples in extraordinary condition or with unusual minting anomalies that capture attention and demand high prices. But these are exceptions. They are the hidden gems that make coin collecting exciting, not the dull, worn examples that fill circulation. Every coin tells a story. Every detail matters. Before you think of spending or discarding an old 1989 Jefferson nickel, look closer. Examine the date, mint mark, edges, and surfaces. Even the faintest detail might hide value. In the world of numismatics, knowledge is the real treasure. Millions of coins exist, but only a few hold secrets that could surprise you. And in those rare cases, a humble nickel transforms from a common 5-cent piece into a remarkable collectible, worthy of attention, respect, and careful handling. The 1989 Jefferson nickel is more than metal. It is history, artistry, and possibility. It reminds us that even the smallest coins can tell the largest stories. And sometimes, in the quietest corners of a coin roll or a forgotten drawer, an ordinary nickel waits to reveal extraordinary value. Hold your 1992 Jefferson nickel in your hand and don't underestimate it. At first glance, it looks ordinary, copper nickel clad over a solid core, worn smooth by decades of handling, dulled by pockets, cash drawers, and the countless transactions of everyday life. Yet that tiny D mint mark from Denver holds meaning that collectors know to never ignore. It's a small detail, but it separates a coin from the millions that passed through circulation unnoticed. The reverse proudly displays Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's historic home, etched with precision and detail that's easy to miss on a heavily circulated example. To the casual eye, it is just another nickel. But history, condition, and rarity are where the real value lies. The 1992 Jefferson nickel was minted during a period of modern U.S. coinage, where the design was familiar, almost iconic. Millions of these nickels were released, entering circulation across the country. Most were used, scratched, and dulled by everyday wear. A dirty, worn 1992 nickel is generally worth 5 cents, face value. Yet that doesn't mean it's worthless. Every nickel carries a story, from the historical significance of Thomas Jefferson's portrait to the intricate design of Monticello on the back. Collectors look beyond wear, seeking coins that retain sharp details, clean surfaces, and strong luster. Condition is everything. Coins graded at high levels by professional services, MS-65, MS-66, and above, suddenly become scarce. Among the millions of circulated nickels, very few survive in pristine condition. Those that do attract attention and competitive bidding at auctions. And then there are mint errors, a world where rarity skyrockets. An off-center strike, double die cracks, or even a clipped planchet on a 1992 Jefferson nickel can turn a humble coin into a collector's prize. These mistakes are limited by nature and sought after by enthusiasts, often fetching hundreds or thousands of dollars. Let's be honest, a heavily circulated, dirty 1992 nickel without errors is not a $1 million coin. Viral claims online exaggerate, mixing rare auction results with common coins. But even in ordinary examples, the story is compelling. Jefferson's profile, Monticello's columns, and the carefully crafted edges speak to the evolution of U.S. coinage. This nickel is a snapshot of American history in your pocket. Every scratch, every mark tells a tale of commerce, travel, and decades of use. Collectors study nickels like detectives. They examine the mint mark, date, edges, and surfaces under strong light. Sharpness in the portrait, clarity in Monticello, and crisp edges are the real indicators of potential value. Even subtle differences can separate an everyday coin from one worth hundreds in the right market. Knowledge and careful observation are what turn a simple nickel into a prized collectible. History adds emotional power. Thomas Jefferson's portrait honors a founding father. Monticello represents not just architecture but the ideals of innovation, leadership, and heritage. The 1992 Jefferson nickel connects us to the past while reminding us that even small coins can carry cultural and historical weight. This is not just a piece of metal, it is a story, a lesson, and sometimes, a rare opportunity. Among millions of 1992 nickels, a few may survive in extraordinary condition or contain minting anomalies. These rare finds are what make coin collecting exciting. The possibility that one nickel could stand out from the rest drives collectors to examine rolls and old collections carefully. Rarity, condition, and demand intersect to create moments of true value. Even a modest coin can surprise. A minor mint error, perfect preservation, or high-grade example transforms it from pocket change into something far more remarkable. The 1992 Jefferson nickel teaches patience, observation, and appreciation of subtlety. Every detail matters, your attention is the key to discovering potential hidden treasures. So, before you think of spending or discarding a 1992 Jefferson nickel, look closer. Study the mint mark. Examine the surfaces for scratches, off-center strikes, or anomalies. Compare details to known examples. In coin collecting, knowledge is the most valuable currency. Millions exist, but only a few hide secrets that collectors seek. And in those rare cases, a humble nickel can reveal extraordinary potential. The 1992 Jefferson nickel is not just a coin. It is history, artistry, and possibility. It reminds us that even the smallest, most overlooked objects may carry hidden value, waiting for the careful eye to recognize their importance. Among everyday change, an extraordinary nickel can quietly hold the power to surprise, to educate, and sometimes, to reward. Hold your 1984 Jefferson nickel in your hand and take a moment. At first glance, it looks like every other nickel that passed through your pocket, your cash drawer, and countless vending machines over decades. Its copper-nickel composition gleams faintly beneath a layer of grime, smudges, and scratches. The tiny D mint mark from Denver may seem insignificant to the untrained eye, but collectors know that even the smallest detail can separate an ordinary coin from something exceptional. The reverse proudly showcases Monticello, Jefferson's historic home, with intricate lines and architectural precision that many overlook. This nickel may seem like simple pocket change, but history and rarity are embedded in its metal. The 1984 Jefferson nickel came at a time when the Jefferson design had become iconic, yet still a vital part of daily commerce. Millions were minted and circulated widely, exchanged in stores, banks, and personal collections across the country. Most coins from that year were handled repeatedly, scratched, dulled, and flattened from decades of use. A heavily circulated 1984 nickel, dirty and worn, is typically worth its face value of 5 cents. But valuing coins is never just about age or metal content. Even a common nickel tells a story of history, design, and human interaction over time. Condition is king in coin collecting. A nickel preserved in near-perfect condition, MS65 or above, suddenly becomes scarce. Among the millions of nickels struck in 1984, very few survive in exceptional condition. Those that do attract serious attention from collectors. And then there are mint errors, the realm where ordinary coins transform into prized collectibles. Off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or even minor die cracks on a 1984 Jefferson nickel can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. These anomalies are limited by nature, and their rarity drives competition among collectors, elevating the coin far above its face value. Let's face reality, a dirty, heavily circulated 1984 nickel without any mint errors is not a ticket to instant millions. Viral stories online often exaggerate, blending rare auction results with everyday coins. Yet even the ordinary examples have value beyond money. Jefferson's profile on the obverse, Monticello on the reverse, and the careful craftsmanship of the mint connect this small coin to a broader story of American history and design. Each scratch and mark represents decades of circulation, commerce, and memory. Collectors are meticulous. They examine mint marks, edges, and surfaces under strong light, looking for sharpness, detail, and anomalies. Even subtle differences, slightly stronger lines in Monticello, a clearer D-mint mark, or minor doubling, can separate an ordinary nickel from one worth significantly more. Knowledge and careful observation are what transform a humble coin into a collectible. The 1984 D. Jefferson nickel also carries historical significance. Thomas Jefferson, a founding father, is immortalized on the obverse, while Monticello represents innovation, legacy, and leadership. These coins remind us that small objects can carry cultural weight and preserve history. A worn nickel may seem trivial, but it encapsulates the era in which it was minted, the artistry of the U.S. Mint, and the evolution of American coinage. Among millions of 1984 D nickels, some may exist in extraordinary condition or contain minting anomalies. These rare finds are what excite collectors, coins that stand out, even slightly, from the rest. Rarity, condition, and demand intersect to create moments of true value. Every well-preserved nickel, or one with a verified mint error, has potential to surprise those who take the time to look carefully. Even modest coins can reveal hidden treasure. A minor mint error, exceptional preservation, or high-grade example can transform a simple nickel into a highly sought collectible. The 1984 D. Jefferson nickel teaches patience, observation, and appreciation for detail. Every edge, every surface, every tiny line matters. Your attention can unlock potential value hidden in plain sight. So before you consider spending or dismissing a 1984 D. Jefferson nickel, examine it closely. Look at the mint mark. Study the edges. Inspect Monticello and Jefferson's profile under light. Check for off-center strikes, die cracks, or unusual wear patterns. Knowledge is your most powerful tool in coin collecting. Among the millions of ordinary coins, a few may hold extraordinary stories or monetary value. The 1984 D. Jefferson nickel is more than metal, it is history, craftsmanship, and hidden potential. It reminds us that even the most overlooked coins can carry significance, offering lessons, intrigue, and in rare cases, real collectible value. Handle it carefully. Look closely. Respect the history. And in doing so, even a humble nickel can reveal its hidden story.